You ever had a fan that just started making noise for no reason and the blade slowed down? Well, that's what happened to this one. My brother gave me this one and he said try to fix it if I can. If I can't, throw it in the garbage. This is what it does. That's the first setting. Wait till it picks up. Turn it on setting 2. There's 3. There's off. You ever wonder why it makes that noise? Well, we're going to tear into it and find out what it is. Most likely it's the bearings, and they're gone. But we'll see for sure. Maybe we can replace the bearings, get this little old fan working again. We'll check it out. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take off the stand, because we don't need that in our way. We'll just loosen this screw up over here, pop that off. This way we can just work with this part. Take off the front cover here, pop these little things. Feels like a nice aluminum blades. Pretty sharp on the edge. Don't want to catch those on your fingers. But seems like it spins good. There's always a little slop back and forth. You can see this way. I don't feel no slop this way or up and down. It feels really tight. So maybe just maybe got some dirt in there. We need to take it apart and blow it out and maybe give it a little bit of oil. See if that doesn't fix it. That could be the first thing we'll try to do. So let's take these fins off here. Got a little screw over here. Just loosen that up and that slides right off. Then take this back cage off. We got 2 screws right here and here. Be a nice little fan to keep around. I can see why he would like to have it back working. Doesn't seem like it's that old. I'm not sure what the date is on it. But, oh, here we go. Date 02 of 09. Well, that's what, almost 10 years old. 10-inch fan. Model number DSF-1001. Take our knobs off. Just pull those off. Get right into the inside of it here. Pop off these front screws. Pretty easy assembly here. Ain't too much that can go wrong with taking these apart and putting them together. Front cover comes off. Got a motor. We got one screw back here in the back side that is holding it from actually coming out. We'll just slide it out like that. It's a little dirty. I can see down inside here. It's pretty dirty. Down in here, It could use some blowing out, but otherwise doesn't look too bad. The gears look in good condition, even though they're a little, I think they put a little grease on there for some reason. Plastic gears. But yeah, there's no play in the shaft at all, except for, like I said, back and forth like that. But and it seems to spin okay. I mean, it feels a little snug. That could be all the dust and dirt that's been blowing through it through the years. But I'll get this all cleaned up. I'll go out in the garage and get the air compressor going and blow this out. And then maybe if these aren't sealed bearings, which I'm not sure if they are, I'll have to look into it more. If they're not sealed bearings, we can drop a couple, put a couple drops of oil down in there on the front and the back, and see if that doesn't loosen this up a little bit. Get rid of that noise. Alright, so I'll do that and come back to you in a minute. So I got this motor all blown out. I cleaned it up a little bit already, put it back together, and I put it back together after I blew it out, and then a little ways. And then I turned it on and I could still hear that this was like vibrating and not moving very fast. So I took it back apart and I cleaned the bearing areas with my alcohol pads and some Q-tips, and that seemed to clean it up to where it's not making any noise as if it sits right here. Putting the fan blade back on it and everything, who knows if the sound will resonate through it. But I thought about it, and the grease that they had on there, grease or oil, whatever they put on the shaft, over the years it dries, and then I think that's what was making it make all the vibrating noise and not spinning the way it should, because it was catching and it wasn't rolling smooth. Once that grease dries, it just needs to be wiped off, and then some new applied, or they have brass bushings in here. So what I wanted to do is take this back apart, and I'm going to put a little dab of lithium grease on these bearings, just to help it maybe hopefully last for a couple more years. Got 4 screws I have to take out here to get this assembly apart. Just got to work your way around all this the wiring and the gears and stuff. Got the starter capacitor right here, 2 microfarad. The bushings were pretty dirty when I got done. The Q-tips were pretty black, and then wiping the shaft off with the alcohol swabs, it was pretty dirty and sticky. So it definitely needed to be done. Just remember which way you took this apart. I took pictures in case my short memory here wasn't long enough, but this just slides right off. We have one bearing right here. You can see that brass bearing there. The other one, if you slide this out here, the other bushing is right down here, you can see. So I cleaned cleaned that with put some alcohol on my Q-tip here, and I cleaned the bushing there. Make sure I get my little plastic washer back on here. So I cleaned that one, and I cleaned this one really good. Just get your alcohol on there and just in and out of there enough to make that all nice and spotless in there. And of course the other dirt and dust around the outside edge. The shafts here, right here and right here, is where they applied their old grease or oil or whatever, and you can see it's a little discolored, but it gets really sticky right there, and that's where the bushings, actually this rides on the bushings. So with that being sticky, that's going to make it vibrate inside those bushings there. So what I'm going to do is I got a little bit of lithium grease that I just put in this little alcohol pad thing, and I'm just going to take this and I'm going to coat both the bushings with a little bit of this. Just enough to make it a little bit slippery. I can actually do this by putting that in there and then going down inside there. This will help it slip around a little bit easier. Hopefully make it last a little longer. We're not talking another lifetime of 10 years, but that would be nice if it did. So make sure our windings here go right on our shafts, little shafts there that you can see. Make sure that fits together the right way. You don't have too much room to move it around because this cable here is so short, but you just want to make sure everything is snug right back where it was from the factory. Make sure you watch your washers if there's any on there. Different fans will be different, so stick that right in there. And take our front cover again. Now it doesn't matter if it goes on this way or this way, as long as that's the way you put it on there. That's why I took pictures, so you don't want to put it on this way and then realize, oh, I got to take it back apart. So we'll put it right on there like that. And then put our 4 screws back in through the back way. Why they did it that way, I guess just to make it difficult, but I'm sure there's a reason for it, so we'll put them back in that way. Get my screw gun out, this would go a lot faster, but I don't have it sitting there right with me right this second. I'm just going in there a little bit with those right now. I haven't snugged them down all the way yet. Alright, them are snug. I can turn my shaft, so that's a good thing. So now I'll go just snug those down the rest of the way, tighten them right up. They have lock washers on them, so they shouldn't come loose. Alright, we can give this a try right here, but it's not gonna give us the full effect because we don't have the blade on, the cage on, to have it vibrate through it. But I'm gonna hold this, keep my fingers out of the way of the windings and everything, and I'm gonna plug this in and we'll give it a try just to see if it'll work right. So it spins right off the bat. That's a good thing. Seems like it's going pretty fast. There's 2, 3, and then off again. You can hear it kind of so that little bit, we might hear it when we put the rest of it together and we might not, but we'll find out. But it does seem like it's spinning a lot better than what it was at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the rest of this together. Get everything lined up. Our hole in the back here. The boring part of video is watching somebody disassemble and assemble a unit. So most of the time you'll probably see me either not show you this part, or I'll speed up the video just to get it over with and get to the main parts of the video. I'm just going to start these screws right here, just so make sure everything's lined up before I put in the 2 side ones here. So every one of my videos that I put up here is not going to have me actually doing this assembly right in front of you, because myself, I don't like to sit and, not too often I'll say, I don't like to sit and watch somebody take something apart or put it together and you know, go through a lot of soldering on something. Or if I see they're going to be doing that, then I usually just kind of skip forward a little bit, but depends on what I'm feeling like that day. Some days I'll sit and watch the whole thing just so I can, you know, make sure they get credit for watching the video and the commercials. Of course, at this point, I'm not doing anything with getting paid for videos. I'm doing it because I actually like finding out what's wrong with stuff, trying to fix it, get it back in working order. It's fun for me, educational on some things, and it saves money for customers. Oop, I think I did that wrong. Yep, I did do that wrong. I forgot to put the back on. That's alright. That was my bad. I was thinking about something else while I was doing this. See, and this kind of stuff you wouldn't see in the video if I just cut this out. Alright, this, it doesn't matter which way it goes on, as long as the 2 holes line up. It's only going into plastic, so you don't want to over tighten these too much. Strip out them plastic threads in there. This has 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Now, I don't know why, but apparently they felt that's that's the way they wanted to make this one. This just slides on, doesn't matter which way. This actually makes it go back and forth like this, or you push it down and then it'll just stay straight. We have a flat spot. We have to make sure that our fan blade screw sits in there. Otherwise it'll spin freely around the shaft, and your fan blade itself might not spin, but the shaft will. Make sure that's nice and tight. Make sure you didn't bend the fan blades too much. Make sure they're nice and straight. Put our cover on. Let's see. This is the top, so we got a hook on the top that just hangs on the top, and then the other three actually lock into place there. So here we go. It's all back together. I'm just going to hold this and then we'll see if it makes noise. If it does, I guess it's ready for either new bearings or the junk pile. I'm assuming he probably won't want to spend the time and money getting new bearings, being that it's 10 years old. So we might just end up taking it to the junkyard. So let's see what we got here. Doesn't sound too bad so far, but sometimes it works fine from the start, but then it starts making the noise. That's on one. There's two. There's three. Sounds good so far. Blows a lot of air. And back to stop again. So it just rotates in a circle and goes through the three different speeds. So it sounds like that might not be too bad. Might last a little bit longer. So I guess the dirt and dust blowing, getting sucked through and through the motor for almost 10 years has got all over the shaft and dried out the grease, and the grease got sticky, and that's what made it have a hard time spinning in the bearings. So if you got a fan, you can always try to do this. And then if that doesn't work, these days they're really cheap. I think a fan like this is a short fan and only stands like 3 foot tall, fully extended. You can buy these for 20 bucks, I think. But about 15 minutes worth of tearing apart and blowing it out and cleaning it up a little bit, putting it back together, oiling it, you might have the fan again for another few years or so. It's worth a try. It's good to experiment, see what you can and what you can't fix, what's fixable, what's not fixable. So, all right, I think we'll call that a finished product, and we'll give it back to them, and hopefully it lasts them for a few more years, or even what the heck, a couple months. All right, there we go. Till next time, we'll see ya.